Welcome back to HHSTV coverage of the Democratic National Convention. Today I'll be interviewing Amanda Kruel, a Bernie Sanders delegate from Tennessee. Amanda started her political career as a volunteer for the Bernie Sanders campaign and later a field organizer. She was then elected as a delegate for the DNC. What follows is my interview with her. I'm here with Bernie Sanders delegate Amanda Kruel from Tennessee. Ms. Kruel, thank you for meeting with me today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
First, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get involved in politics?
With Bernie and his campaign, I was not really involved in politics at all before a little bit more than a year ago, I guess. He had his big live stream event on July 29th of last year, and that was the first time I ever actually got out and did something, other than post online about politics. But I started out volunteering in Knoxville, and I did some stuff, statewide, and I did some stuff on the national level, like the conference call team was my big thing. But I, did a lot of volunteer work with them, and I got hired as a field organizer in the end of January. So I was field organizer in Tennessee, and after we had our primary, they sent me up to Delaware. So I did field organizing there, and that's my story.
What was the appeal of the Sanders campaign? Why in 2016 or 2015, when the campaign started, did you suddenly decide to be involved in politics?
It's all about Bernie. There are so many politicians that, just do not have integrity that I just remember hearing about Bernie and seeing this stuff about him online and just thinking, this guy sounds too good to be true. Like, there's no way that somebody's got this good of a record, and I was trying to find out, so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out, what's the catch? There's got to be something about this guy, but I couldn't find anything. And just his honesty, his straightforwardness, and his character is just so powerful. And the fact that he talks to us like we're not stupid, that really means a lot to me, and he really inspired me.
Have you ever heard of Bernie Sanders before he ran for president?
Well, no, actually, it's funny because I remember the first time I heard about him was April 27th of last year, because I was at a bluegrass music festival in North Carolina, and somebody was like, that guy looks like Bernie Sanders. And I was like, who's Bernie Sanders? And it all blossomed from there. So
during the course of the primary, where Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton have to distinguish themselves in order to separate the Democratic votes, why did you stick with Bernie Sanders? What did you not like about Hillary Clinton?
Well, I'm not sure that it was that I didn't like things about Hillary as much as, just hearing about Bernie and learning about him and just him being so different, just a different kind of person. I was going to say a different kind of politician, but I feel bad calling him a politician because that word has such negative connotation, and that stuff doesn't apply to him. Hillary is pretty much the definition of establishment politics. She was married to the president, now she's going to be the nominee, it looks like. And it's funny because there's just different stuff that comes out about her all the time. And my problem is less with her than it is with the DNC, because they have been sort of colluding against Bernie from the start, and we see that over and over and over. So I guess my thought is I've been really disappointed this cycle because of the Democratic Party, because it is not the party that I thought it was. Because I thought they cared more about, representing all the people, but they care about protecting the party. And that's what really bothers me and really rankles me about the Clinton campaign.
Do you think that the Democratic Party has acted unfairly during this cycle?
Yes. They were, do you want examples?
Sure.
They were promoting, basically just as they assumed that she was the nominee from the start, and one of the things that was happening was, the debate schedule. I think in 2008 there were something like 26 debates, and they had started in July or August of 2007, and this year they scheduled 6, and they scheduled them starting in October. After New York had a closed primary, and the last date is for people to switch their registration over to Democrat was October 9th, and the first debate didn't happen until October 13th, and there was a lot of media blackout, but I'm not going to blame that on the DNC. Well, it's funny because there's like, I was going to say, because the DNC can't control the media, but in those emails that were leaked today, there's one where they're like, oh, this headline's not right on Real Clear Politics. Somebody go change that. And it's fixed. So.
Could you explain those emails?
Yes. Okay. So I guess today some 20,000 emails were released. It says that like they're Hillary emails, but they're from the DNC, but that's pretty much the same thing. And let's see. The one that I'm talking about right there was about the Nevada convention, because it was saying, DNC people flee from Bernie supporters or whatever. And in the response was, let's change that to say, Nevada Democratic Party. And like, that kind of sucks for them because, they're getting drafted. But the one thing with the email that was really funny was there was the email thread about me. There was a fundraiser in Knoxville where I live on June 2nd, I believe, maybe it was the 3rd, for the Democratic Party. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was in town just to do this event. And I was there protesting outside to start with, and then I went inside to do the event, and I met Debbie Wasserman Schultz, everything like that. But I could tell that they were not really happy to have me there. And then this email that was released just this morning is basically them saying this girl donated and she's bought a ticket to this reception, but she's got all these tweets and she's got all these Facebook posts about the Democratic Party and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And then just very strange to see all that stuff, because I just did not think that anyone was looking at my tweets. And I guess somebody is.
So looking at the Democratic establishment, who would you like to see step down based on their unfair performance this year? I assume you prefer Debbie Wasserman Schultz to step down?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, my thought is Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because she is the face of the organization, and she has made it very clear that, she is, backing Hillary. She's been... My thought just this whole election season was, I just can't believe that she didn't even try to pretend to look impartial, because I feel like that's what you at least want to present, that appearance. So, I mean, she obviously, everybody's got a problem with her, but at the same time, I don't think that she has control over what happened. And if we look at these emails that came out today, it's just all these people at the top just going back and forth, trying to figure out how to make Bernie look bad and make Hillary look good, and just totally keep Bernie from getting the nomination. So if it was up to me, I don't know. I would think about getting rid of him all in one fell swoop, but at the same time, I just don't know if the Democratic Party can be salvaged at this point.
Do you think that the Hillary camp is to blame for any of this unfairness?
Well, I think that they would be to blame for some of it, because I know that that's any political strategy, is to, work on your opponent and have opposition research on your opponent. And the other thing is, I just don't know if I would put the blame with their campaign, because it's clearly just been, it's not just the campaign. It's like the campaign working with the DNC and then the Hillary Victory Fund and all this stuff. And I just feel like there's really blame to go around for everybody.
As for the issues now, what do you think is the most important issue that people from Tennessee face?
I think the most important issue is healthcare. We had an opportunity to expand Medicaid, and our governor was actually behind that, but he changed. No, it was the legislature had a problem with it. So this program, Insure TN, got gutted. That it never happened, and now they're trying to come up with a new plan. Basically, they're trying to work with Obamacare and get it set up, but they're just having a lot of problems. And my thought is, with Insure Tennessee, it's a real shame that didn't go through, and they're doing a new program now that's like supposed to be healthcare, but it only is for veterans and people with behavioral issues. So it needs a lot of work.
What do you think is the most important issue that Americans in general face?
Well, it's hard to say, because, I don't think that politics necessarily, like especially in terms of, corruption and stuff like that, I don't think that necessarily affects the lives of everyday Americans directly. But at the same time, it is just set up this stage that is making it really hard for everybody to get by. And so, I really think that it's, income inequality, racism, all kinds of stuff. The messed up criminal justice system, it's all based on politics and then people who want power and people who want money. And I think that getting big money out of politics would definitely be a big help. But honestly, just at this point, after seeing more today about the DNC and what they're doing, it's just, I'm just shocked, and I don't know if it can be salvaged. But I think income inequality is probably the base of a lot of our problems.
How does the Democratic Party adopt a platform?
The Democratic Party, I'm not 100% sure, but from what I have gathered, they had their platform meetings. I want to say they had one in St. Louis in June, I think, and then they had one in Orlando, and I think Orlando was the one where they finalized the stuff. And I know that they had different people. Bernie's campaign had selected people to go and be on I want to say it's the platform committee. And I had a friend, Ben Kemper, who was on that, and he was helping with, put it together. So I'm not sure, what happened in that room, but, they had Bernie people there and Hillary people there that, had been handpicked by the campaign to come up with a platform. And they did.
What role did you play in adopting the platform, if any?
None. I did not play any role in it. I back Bernie and I back his platform, and I trusted people like Ben Kemper to go to the platform committee and speak for all of us, and I think Ben did a good job.
Were you happy with the platform that was created?
Yes, it is the most progressive platform in history. It's got about 80% of the things Bernie wanted on it. And honestly, I'm really surprised that we got as much as we did, because I did not think that would be the case. It might be just a concession because they want to get Bernie people and they're afraid of losing us. But at the same time, they did put that on the platform. But it may just be a symbolic gesture, I'm not sure.
What were the issues that you were happiest to see added to the platform?
Legalization of marijuana and the $15 minimum wage. $15 minimum wage I was really, really happy about, just because that was something that had been starkly opposed by Clinton. She had said $12, let's put it at 12, but we got it up to 15. And so that is a quantifiable, evidence of the impact that we made.
Do you think that that's really going to help the American people? Do you think that the $15 minimum wage is going to help our economy?
I do. I don't know. I live in Tennessee, and Tennessee is the state with the highest percentage of minimum wage workers in the country. And I want to say 30% of children in Tennessee are living in poverty. And, it sucks for adults to live in poverty too, but when we live in a place where so many kids are in poverty, and in single parent families, it's like 60% of children are living in poverty. And the thing is, it's just, there's no options. You can't think of doing anything, like think about going to school. It's just, this money is just this cloud hanging over you, because anything that you want to do, you need to have money to do. And if you're in Tennessee, you are not likely to have it. And the best part is our governor, Bill Haslam, is the richest politician in the country. Well, I guess except Donald Trump now. Mm-hmm. But Haslam, I think, is worth about $2 billion. Mm-hmm. So, big guy.
Do you think that Bernie Sanders represents the future of the Democratic Party, or do you think that it's more the progressive views are going to get less and less popular as we go along?
Well, I don't think either of those things. What I think is that the Democratic Party is going to fall apart. I think that it's going to be the future of the liberal movement in this country, and the future of the progressive movement is Bernie Sanders' sort of politics. But I just don't see the Democratic Party, picking up much from him. Right now they're trying to placate a lot of the Bernie supporters, and they're doing a good job with some of them, but at the same time, they have shown themselves to be, unreliable and dishonest.
What do you think is the future of the Democratic Party then? Do you think that other parties are going to step in, for example, the Green Party?
Well, this is a really good question, because I think, really what I think is, if the Democrats, I know it's very unlikely, but I feel like if they choose Bernie Sanders at this convention, if the superdelegates change their mind and acknowledge that if they want to beat Trump, Bernie is a way better choice than Hillary. If they do that, then I could see people getting faith back in the Democratic Party and caring about the Democratic Party and wanting to help out and get Democrats elected. But as it is now, there are so many people who used to be, enthusiastic, lifelong Democrats and just are disgusted by what's been happening. So I do see, I could see a third party coming in, the Green Party possibly. But, at this point, it's really up to the DNC because they have the opportunity to make this right or they have the opportunity to throw everything away. And that's what it looks like they're going to be doing.
So Senator Sanders just dropped out after the adoption of this progressive platform.
He did not drop out.
Suspended his campaign.
He did not suspend the campaign.
And I love this because the media loves to say this. He did a conference call for the delegates the same night that he endorsed Hillary Clinton. And his exact words were, we are still officially a candidate. I have not suspended the campaign. I'm not going to suspend the campaign. And he made the promise last year. He was taking this all the way to the convention, and Bernie keeps his promises. It's great.
So he has endorsed Hillary Clinton.
Yes. And to my knowledge, my guess as to why he did that
Would be to get the Democrats to work with him because, getting that platform stuff, I have a feeling that it would have been a lot harder to get that passed without his, sort of like, okay, it wasn't the most enthusiastic endorsement ever, but I think it showed them that he was willing to work with them.
So assuming that Hillary Clinton will become the nominee, let's just assume, do you intend to support Hillary Clinton?
It's tough. I will say it's easier on me than it is on somebody in Pennsylvania probably because Tennessee is a red state. And it doesn't matter if I vote for Hillary Clinton or not. She's not going to win Tennessee. So it's nice that I don't really have to worry too much. I'm not sure what I would do if I were in a swing state. But what I think a lot of us in Tennessee are going to be doing is voting for Jill Stein, just to get her some recognition.
Do you think that that might be potentially dangerous if you vote for Jill Stein and then Donald Trump wins enough votes to become president?
Well, it's Tennessee. I feel like other states, I would not risk that. But the fact that it's such a red state, there's no way that Hillary Clinton would win Tennessee in any circumstances, no matter, even if I threw all my weight and all of my energy and efforts behind her, she would not win Tennessee. They hate her.
Now, let's say in a swing state, for example. In that case, would you support Hillary Clinton or would you rather jump on a movement that supports Jill Stein or even vote Bernie Sanders in the general?
Well, it's really hard to say because Hillary Clinton's numbers have gone down. 3 months ago, she was, I think, 9 points ahead of Donald Trump. And last I checked, she was less than 3 ahead. And it's like part of me feels like if she is the only alternative to Donald Trump, maybe I should be backing her. But at the same time, the other part of me feels like this is a sinking ship and I need to get off of it. And maybe I should find something better and try and bring that to the forefront and try and, make a difference. Because I don't know if we can recover from all the scandals behind Hillary.
Now, Donald Trump has been saying that some of the Bernie supporters automatically jump to him once they decide not to vote for Bernie Sanders for the primary reason of he's not establishment like Hillary Clinton is. And in fact, you were talking about that earlier, where you were saying how Hillary Clinton is so establishment and the party doesn't treat her fairly. Do you think that it's the right move for some of the Bernie supporters to then support Trump if they don't want to see this establishment?
Well, Bernie has made it very clear that he does not want Trump to be president. But at the same time, I feel that it's a person's personal decision. And I don't think there's any circumstance where I would vote for Trump. But I am not going to judge other people for that. And to my knowledge, I think, at least in Tennessee, a lot of the Bernie people that I know that are, everybody's really angry that he, didn't win the primary. And a lot of them in Tennessee, at least it seems like they're going to be voting third party. But I know that there are some people who are definitely voting Trump. I haven't seen many people admit that publicly, but there are some people.
Do you think that Senator Sanders has been successful in this revolution, he's called it?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I did not think that it would go this far. I don't think anybody did. And there's just so much, just having done all the volunteer work that I did, because I did it on the local level, but I also did it on the national level. And one of the things that I did was I did these new volunteer conference calls. And I would, once or twice a week, we'd have a conference. Well, the one I would do, they happen like every day, but I did it once or twice a week. And just all the people who were interested in volunteering would call in, and it would be, 50, 100 people. And we'd just be talking about how to get involved in the campaign and taking questions from people and hearing their different stories. And just, there's so many times where I heard people say that, they pretty much, not that they had given up hope, but that they never had hope that they could have any effect on politics and government. But Bernie's campaign has really taught a lot of people about that. And it's gotten a lot of people involved who, not that they wanted to be involved, but they didn't think it was an option. And it's amazing that it is. I mean, I did not think that I would be here. I did not think I would be in politics, and here I am a delegate. So very surprising, but hope. I have hope. Some hope.
Now, Donald Trump has been saying all along that he's also launching a political revolution, that he's getting people who have been disaffected, he's getting people who have never voted to vote for him for the first time. Do you think that Trump is at all comparable for those reasons?
Comparable to Bernie? Yes, I do. There's one of our first meetings that we had for Bernie in Tennessee. There was a guy who came out, and he told me he's 37 and he had never been registered to vote, but he had heard about Bernie. He's interested in Bernie, and I think that there are just a lot of people that the reason that nobody ever bothered trying to get involved is because it is so establishment, and you just think that it's completely impenetrable. But seeing that people like Bernie and people like Trump, they both have shown that we don't like the establishment. The majority of the American people are really sick and tired of the way things are run, and we believe that it's rigged. And so I do understand the shared sort of preference that people have with Bernie and Trump. My thought is, though, that it would have been so much better if Bernie were the candidate, because there's so many people that I've met who have been like, well, I'm supporting Trump because I hate Hillary. I would vote for Bernie, but he's not going to be the nominee. And I just don't know how many people there are that are like that. And it's really tough, because to me, I've been very angry at the DNC about how unfair that they have been this whole time. But really, what I'm angry about right now is that they are caring more about keeping their party together than they are about keeping the country together. Because they're afraid of losing the party more than they're afraid of losing the White House.
Now that the platform has been adopted, what's left to happen from July 25th to the 28th? What's actually going to happen at the DNC?
Well, I think one of the first things that we do is vote on the rules, because I believe the Rules Committee meets this weekend, and they're setting those up. And it's similar to the Platform Committee, people from both sides. And I know that during the week, I think on Monday, the gavel time, as they call it, is at 3. And it's weird, because I thought it was going to be like all day long, and I thought I was going to be able to like hang out in Philadelphia at the night and do stuff, but nope. It starts at 3 p.m. So not 100% sure. There's the floor, and I mean, really, because they've mostly been talking to us about the specifics, like you can't bring a backpack, and if you have a guest pass, that means you can get into the convention center, but not on the floor, and blah 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 blah. So honestly, I'm not 100% sure what's going to be going on in there. They've got caucuses happening like during the mornings, and I don't know if anything happens, but I think those are open to the public, but I'm not sure. But the serious work, I believe, is the afternoon/evening sessions, and I do not really know what's going to be happening in those.
Who would you like to see Hillary choose as a running mate?
I don't have any idea. I don't know, because there was talk about her maybe taking Elizabeth Warren, which, a lot of progressive love Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I would say that I do. But it's at the same time, it's anything that you see her doing, it's not necessarily that she thinks that Elizabeth Warren would be a great vice president, but I've got to get these Bernie people. How can I get these Bernie people? Okay, that is the most strategic move for me to get these Bernie people. I really have not thought much about who her vice president might be, because I don't know, it just seems like it wouldn't really matter.
What are the odds, you think, that Hillary Clinton becomes the next president of the United States?
Ugh. Decreasing. I mean,
Do you think that Trump's odds are going up as Hillary's are going down, or do you think third-party candidates are having more increasing odds?
well, Hillary versus Trump in the general, the polls have been slowly getting closer, and I believe in some of the swing states, Trump is ahead. And I just don't. I think the Democratic Party is hoping that Hillary's numbers are going to start going up, but I don't see how anything they could do would change that. And I feel like maybe if you asked me a month ago, I would have said her chances were at 60%, but if you asked me today, I'd say her chances are at 45%.
You think it's more likely that Trump is going to win?
At this point, yes. And it's hard to think about this because it just seems so outlandish. But I can just, in my mind, just thinking Hillary versus Trump, and then that election day, maybe it's just because I'm in Tennessee, but I just imagine like all these people going, and it's like everybody just wants to vote against Clinton and, vote against corruption because that's what they're going to see her as. Even it's funny because it's like one of the things that Bernie had, gone against Clinton about was her taking big money. And so it's ironic that Donald Trump sort of is big money, but it's just his money, so people are okay with that.
So this video will hopefully be viewed by high school students. Do you have any closing remarks, especially for them?
High school students. Well, I had a really good time in high school. And if you want to go to college, don't take a year off. I'll say that. But I don't know. I just can't imagine what it's like growing up today with technology being so much different than it was, 12 years ago when I graduated from high school. Be nice to people, use critical thinking, tell jokes. Jokes are great. I love jokes. But there's hope. There's hope.
Ms. Kruel, thank you for meeting with me today.
Thank you.